lights from his hat. I didn't know it worked like that. Seems great until you do the math. And now people waking up, poking heads out of their stuff. What an expensive turtle shell. That's probably just as well because I don't want to be the machine powered by the material dream. Now the people want the truth. Know the truth that can't be found. Well, it's just an artifact, and it's buried in the ground. And I know I'm to blame. Let's call it by its true name. Well, I never held a gun, but I gave it to your son, and I watched it lull him to sleep with the hypnotic hum of the machine. Go ahead and tune me out. You've got it figured out. You say you don't even watch the news. It's giving you the blues. But if it was at your door, the cost of foreign war, tell me, what would you say just then? How you tell me to pretend that we max the machine powered by the material dream. There she goes again. She goes again, speaking her beliefs.
Welcome to the Best You discussion. The music, the wonderful music, is provided by our friend Amy Hendrickson, and that song is entitled The Machine. If you're watching us on Facebook, please like our page. And check out our website and learn more about us at bestyouguru.com. If you've missed one of our blogs, you can
.com?
bestyouguru.com.
It just sounds like .com to me, but that's okay.
Well,
Go ahead.
okay. If you missed one of our blogs, you can find it there. bestyouguru.com.
Com.
If you want to receive our bi-monthly blogs, you can contact us at bestyouGuru@yahoo.com. You know, Best You discussions can be watched on a YouTube channel. We have our own YouTube channel. Did it all by myself, and I think I got it right. But you can look for us on the Best You discussion on the YouTube subscription page. Like and subscribe. Just look for the Best You green and blue diamond. I would appreciate it. And as with any business, we need your support. You can help us by sending between $7 and $10 to Venmo at Robin Shivery. That's Venmo at Robin Shivery. Or you can use PayPal by sending it to bestyouGuru@yahoo.com. bestyouGuru@yahoo.com. First, I want to answer some last week's questions, or the last couple weeks' questions. First question is the S&P 500 a better representation of the economy than the Dow? That's something we covered in our last discussion. And the short answer is yes, because the S&P represents 500 companies, whereas the Dow represents 30 companies. But here's what I want you to understand. All indices are weighted for some companies against others. Of the S&P, 5 companies make up 20% of the S&P. Amazon, Google, Apple, Facebook, and Microsoft comprise 20% of the S&P 500. Main Street economy, and I'll say this over again tonight, Main Street economy is not Wall Street economy. Number 2, why is being a free rider a bad thing? I thought getting something for free was good. Well, it is and it's not. It depends. The store or person providing the product may run out and can't afford to buy more. So the demand may be there, but the people still have no supply. Because free is really never ever free. Someone's got to pay. So when you say I got it for free, that really means you may be hurting other people and or the business you got it free from. Nothing is ever free. Someone pays something somewhere. And the second reason why a free rider, like we talked with last time, being a free rider is a bad thing. The law of reciprocity. More of a social norm or a construct that you're responding in positive or in kind with a positive action. So it's like kindness for kindness. Give you an example. Non-voters are free riders. And non-voters still participate in our economy, our society, but they're really not voting, so they're really free riders. If you take a product from somebody, chances are someone's going to take a product from you. So repay kindness with kindness. What can I invest my money in to get a good return? The best return in any economic environment, whether it's good times or bad times, the best investment you can make is in yourself. One reason too many people don't find financial satisfaction is their lack of knowledge, not lack of money. Money generally is never the problem. It's knowledge or ideas. Because money is a tool. It's like a hammer. Using a dollar bill to drive a nail is the wrong use of a dollar bill. So understanding how to use money is really more impactful in a satisfaction of your life than just having more money. It's not the lack of money. An example would be lottery winners. The vast majority of lottery winners wind up broke after winning the lottery. Why? Because they never really understood how to use the money. And oftentimes, we are gifted or earn the money we deserve and the money we can handle. So I encourage people to learn more about how to use money as a tool rather than just acquiring the money. Another question, is gold a good investment? Well, it depends what you want and where you are financially. Understand that the stock market has outperformed gold over the last 20 years. But what you can look for, a strong dollar, if you hear that our dollar is strong, gold is usually at a lower price. If we have a weak dollar, gold is usually higher priced. And right now we have a weak dollar, that's why the price of gold is high. So it depends on what you want. Gold is usually pretty stable, but if you're looking for an investment, a good return on your investment, gold oftentimes over the last quarter of a century has not performed as well as the stock market. This is a difficult one. Is the coronavirus worse on the economy than the Great Recession? This is my opinion. I think it is, but it should not be. The Great Recession was an economic problem, and it could have been much worse. But leadership provided a national plan that worked and prevented a Great Depression. Why I believe the coronavirus is worse, because it's really only a medical issue, a medical problem. And because of lack of leadership, it has turned into a medical and economic problem. We have no national plan to fight it, whereas the Great Recession, we did. We made a major medical problem become a major economic problem. I'll give you one solution that I think would have worked, and I'm not empowered to do so. But if we would have funded the average American that they could stay in their homes, they could pay their bills, they could eat, we could keep the basic necessity of the economy running. Smaller business may have suffered, larger businesses would have suffered. However, part of being business is being creative. A restaurant could get creative and learn how to adapt to the environment. Part of business is learning how to adapt. So I think that we have made the coronavirus worse than the Great Recession because we failed to understand that it is a medical issue that we made a major economic problem. Those are the questions I got in. So tonight, before we begin the fourth of our financial therapy series, I want to remind everybody there are really three kinds of people in our world. Just three. Those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who wonder what happened. And what I see too often times, a lot of us have become the third type. We have got to be the kind of people that make things happen. The coronavirus has placed us in a difficult environment. COVID-19, like we mentioned in one of the questions, has presented now two major problems, a medical and an economic. I ask each of you to listen to the medical experts. Remember that antidotes are not data. Science provides data. Medical science provides data. People on Facebook and people on social media with stories of great miracles are not data. They're stories. Now, what we do on this program, on our discussion, is talk about economic matters. I am not a medical expert. Many people are concerned about the economy, as I am as well. People were concerned about economic matters before the coronavirus. And now, people are worried. There's a big difference between being concerned and being worried. For those that don't know, America is officially in a recession. Today, it was announced that the largest economic contraction in U.S. history took place in the second quarter of this year. Our economy shrank by 32.9%. The ramifications will be tremendous. And we are here to help you develop, maybe navigate the waters a little bit, develop a strategy, develop a plan. The Main Street economy was not doing well before the coronavirus. Unless you find debt a measure of success. Too many people with a megaphone of social media have become like the free spending drunks at the bar after payday. Drinks all around. Everything is great until the tab becomes due. And in the morning, the drunk awakes to a headache with the realization of no money. This is where I fear we may find ourselves. Let us not use the coronavirus as an excuse for our fiscal insanity. Before the coronavirus, America had the highest debt of government debt in U.S. history. Before the coronavirus, America had the highest corporate debt in U.S. history. Before the coronavirus, Americans had the highest personal debt in U.S. history. Before the coronavirus, America had the highest collateralized loan obligations in history. And we have made matters worse. We didn't have the greatest economy before COVID-19. We had the greatest debt in history, and the tab is coming due. Debt is dangerous to our democracy, and those touting that this is the greatest economy ever, the greatest economy in history, that's a con. Those people claiming that have learned one thing in life. It is easier to fool someone than it is to convince them that they have been fooled. What is going to happen will happen. I don't have the power to control that. But what we can do, what you can do, what I can do, is learn to navigate the economic instability in which we find ourselves. We can navigate our course. And that's really what matters. Let me help you understand economics by changing your view. Everybody watching, look around the room. Your room. Look to your right. I'm serious. Look to your right. Now, look to your left. Look up. Look down. Look all around. Try to remember and look at every picture, every person, every piece of furniture. Get it implanted in your mind. Take a minute. Think about it. Memorize that room. Now, everybody go grab a chair. A step stool, a ladder, a chair. Grab one. You got 30 seconds. Grab something, a chair, a ladder, a step stool. No, not you, Robin. You can sit there. You've done this before. Everybody got a chair, everybody got a ladder, everybody step stool. That's the only thing you've added to this room. Look around the room, and still it's the same room. Now everybody climb up and stand on that chair or that ladder or that step stool and look around the room now. Look around the room now. The room stayed the same. Now you can get down off the ladder, off the chair, off the step stool. Realize that the two views you just had were different. The room stayed the same. Everything remained the same. The only change was your view of it. A different perspective. Both views were correct, but a different perspective. And this is life. What we want to do at Best You is give you a different perspective so you can better navigate your life. Your view of economics must change in order for your finances to change. I want to continue a little from the last discussion. Somebody asked me about fiat currency. Our currency is called fiat currency because it represents the trust that we, the people, have in our government. That is all. The money is worthless without the backing of the government. I just want to remind everyone what the father of American capitalism said, Adam Smith. The problem with fiat money is that it rewards the minority that can handle money, but fools the generation that has worked and saved money. Again, I'm going to repeat that. Fiat money is what America has. And Adam Smith says the problem with fiat money is that it rewards the minority that can handle the money, but fools the generation that has worked hard and saved the money. Do you know how to handle money? You know how to earn it. You work hard. Now let's see if we can learn how to handle it a little better. You know, the Federal Reserve, Wall Street, hedge funds managers, government agencies, and other form of monetary managers will fool all of us at some point. The damage to your finances often depends upon your level of knowledge. The more you know, the less you're fooled. What most often determines your financial success is your reaction to the issues, not the issues. You are operating in an economic recession, but I ask you, I beg of you, don't be the drunk at the bar. So you can make better navigation choices. You can face the financial peril that faces all of us. But let's discuss 5 topics tonight that I think will help enlighten you and help you navigate rough waters that may be ahead. Number 1, your credit score. Your credit score can determine the house you live in, the job you receive, the interest you pay on your credit cards, the interest you pay on your house, and so much more of your life. Your credit card score or your credit score is critical. Most people I talk with have no idea of the credit score or how much it impacts their life. Do you? If someone asked you today, what is your credit score? Would you know what it is? You should. An overall score of between 800 and 850 is exceptional. Only 20% of the population in our country have that score between 800 and 850. A score between 740 and 799 is very good. 25% of the population have that score. 670 to 739 is good. 21% of the people have that score. 580 to 669 is fair. 18% of the population has that score. 300 to 579 is very poor, and 16% have that score. What's your score? I can tell you 701 is the average FICO score. FICO has different scores if you're applying for a loan, a bank card, or a mortgage. They generally range between 3 and 900. And what we mentioned was only the overall scores. I ask you to know your credit score, monitor your credit score. You should know it. Robin and I review our credit score a couple times a month. And we always know about the range it's in. Your credit score, look at it this way, your credit score is a financial thermometer. It shows your temperature to the world, even though you may not know your temperature.
Oh boy, I know mine. Every day we find out what our temperature is now, don't we?
Every day we know it. We should know our financial score the same way. Manage it or it controls you. Robin, what would happen if your temperature got too high and you didn't know it?
And I went to work.
Yes.
They just make me work anyhow. No, I'm just kidding. They'd send me home.
That sends you home. So know your credit score. Number 2, universal basic income. A very misunderstood concept that's facing our country today. You know, a strong middle class is the engine of American capitalism. It's not the rich, it's not the poor, but the American middle class is that class of people that keep our economy going. A weakened middle class weakens America. The universal basic income, the UBI, is a method of keeping our economy strong and running smoothly. It assists in keeping the middle class strong, and it feeds the poor. The argument against the UBI is the thought of people receiving money for nothing. You hear that. Why should somebody get $1,500 a month for nothing? This is a false argument, and it doesn't hold water. Economically, it doesn't hold water. Now, it sounds good politically, and it makes it sound good that I don't want anybody getting anything for free. But those arguing this case are failing to understand economics, or they're wishing to keep a weakened middle class. I mean, I get it. I get it. Nobody wants to just give away money, but people should produce what they receive, shouldn't they? I understand. But UBI, Universal Basic Income, is not free money. People earn it. Now somebody's going, well, how in the heck do they earn it? Capitalism, my friends, capitalism. Data dividends fund a UBI. What's the number one product in the world today? The number one product in the world today. Corporations are profiting from the number one product.
Toilet paper?
It may be toilet paper, but it is data. Your data is the number one product of corporations in our country today. And who created the data? You did. Data that runs America is making people very wealthy. The data, American data, is produced by we the people. So it's your data that you're producing that is the number one product of most companies. Adam Smith, again, because I'm a capitalist, the father of American capitalism, said that we should be getting paid for our divisions of labor. You should be paid for your data. You created it. Why not get paid for it? In Wealth of Nations, he spoke of that division of labor should be the determinant of payment. Corporations are profiting from a division of labor, not of their making. They are profiting, legally I may add, very legal, on something you made. Without your data, corporations would fail. The Dow, the S&P, the Russell 2000, the stock market could crash. Without your data, you should get paid for what you made. The data you created can fund the UBI. If someone procured a painting that you created, they got it. You painted it. Wouldn't you want to get paid? The data you created is no different. Universal basic income could be funded from companies paying for the product you created. Data is a product. Companies had made fortunes from your efforts. Just because you were unaware of what you're producing doesn't mean you shouldn't be paid for it. You should be paid for your efforts. Something you created could create a stronger middle class, and a stronger America. Wages have not increased dramatically over the last 40 years. And the one reason is the number one product that you created is data, and you haven't been paid for it. The third topic we'll cover tonight is what purpose does your money serve? Have you ever asked yourself that? What purpose does your money serve? I know somebody's out there saying, well, I earn money to pay my bills. If that is really your answer, and you really believe you earn money to pay your bills, you've been entrapped. You've entrapped yourself. If your plan is bill paying, then that's what you'll do. You'll pay bills. So I ask you to remember that money is a tool. Have a purpose for your money. Where will you spend it? How will you spend it? Will you spend it on paying bills or living your dreams? What are your plans for your money? The great Yogi Berra said that if you don't know where you're going, you might wind up somewhere else. And I'll tell you, it's the same way with money. If you don't know what you're going to spend your money on, living your dreams, having a better life, you'll wind up spending it on paying bills, on products or items that you never really wanted in the first place. So have a plan for your money. And number 4, our economic system is not operating.
I believe Luna has something she'd like to add.
I think she has input. This is Luna. Luna, you want to say hi to everybody? You just want to show them your butthole. American capitalism is not operating as American capitalism. I do not think anyone who has read Wealth of Nations or Moral Sentiments would disagree. That is, our economic system was founded in 1776 on Moral Sentiments and Wealth of Nations. We have been brainwashed to believe that, that American capitalism is what we experience, but it's not. The UBI would be capitalism. Just because you don't recognize someone else's labor doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I mean, you don't see electricity, but you benefit from it, just like corporations benefit from your data, and you have to pay for electricity. A UBI is capitalism. Corporate regulation is capitalism. Healthcare for every American, paid for by every American, is capitalism. American capitalism is what we need to be operating on. That's what founded our country and made it great. One should not profit from what one does not earn. Main Street capitalism is where it's at. Main Street is capitalism. Wall Street is questionable. The system we operate today is really neoliberal economics. And there are 3 main attributes to neoliberal economics. Number 1 is privatizing the commons. Think about it. Why should private companies profit on what belongs to everyone, the commons? Natural and cultural resources, such as air, water, minerals, social platforms, electricity, land, and other commons, should not be used as tools to govern us. Companies should never govern the people. That is not capitalism. A corporation should not have that much power. Oh, but they do. Companies should not profit and control on what we, the people, depend upon to survive. That's not capitalism. That's neoliberal economics. Number 2, that you'll always hear talk about free enterprise and free trade capitalism. It's not. It is deregulation of business and corporations. Capitalism, my friends, requires a government to have power to control businesses for the benefit of the people. Not own, but to regulate for the good of the people. A free market ceases to be free when the interests of the corporations take precedence over the good of the people. A company that is unbridled is not good for the people. Competition is good for the people. Regulation is required to ensure a competitive market. The reduction of regulations has harmed Main Street economy while giving Wall Street a free rein, disguised as a free market. It has created an unlevel playing field. Even the regulations that we have today were written to address products and not data. And remember, the number one product we produce is data. And we have very little regulations to protect us. We must take the fight to protect our liberty and our economy. Adam Smith spoke of regulations and that a government must balance the power between the power of the people and the power of the business. He said the second duty of government is that of protection as far as possible every member of a society from the injustice or oppression of every other member of it. Now, that's what capitalism is about. Now, let me really piss some people off. According to the United States Constitution, immigrants, regardless of how they got here, immigrants upon our soil are members of our society. If you doubt me, read the Constitution. Anybody, everybody on our soil is a member of this society. And they have constitutional rights. Now, somebody's out there really pissed off and I'll get an email about it. But I'm telling you, every person in our country, legal or non-legal, here by invitation or just swam the river, they have constitutional rights. And the father of capitalism, the guy who set this wheel in motion in 1776, says that it is the duty of government to protect them just like everybody else on our soil. My friends, whether you like it or not, that's capitalism. That's capitalism. And if you think it's not, you've been brainwashed to believe in the neoliberal economic theory that's designed to entrap the middle class. And the third element of neoliberal economics is lowering taxes. When a politician or a leader tells you and promises you to lower taxes, question them. Because to one who has much been given, much is required. Tax rates. Much argument and disagreement about tax rates. But there's two tax rates that you need to understand if you're going to compete in the coming financial markets. There's actual and effective. The actual rate may be 25% or 28% for a corporation, but their effective rate may be different. What someone is supposed to pay and what they do pay is completely different. They are the wealthy among us and the corporations among us that pay zero taxes. That is not capitalism. Let me address one other issue when we talk about taxes is the Laffer theory of economics. When we hear, and most people know it as trickle-down economics, the reason that came to being is President Ronald Reagan, when running for office, needed a political agenda. So they talked about empowering the rich and the money will flow down. There is no case study, there is no economic study ever produced that shows that to be true. In the last 40 years, there has been an onslaught against the middle class because people have been brainwashed to believe that Laffer and his theory of trickle down is an effective economic theory. It doesn't work, never has worked, never will work. Why would anybody believe that other than it's a good political ploy? So, privatize the commons, deregulation, lowering taxes. Does that all sound familiar? That's not capitalism. That's neoliberal economics. So if you claim to be an American capitalist, I challenge you to look at yourself. Capitalism requires the subject of every state ought to contribute towards the support of the government. The subjects of every state contribute towards the support of the government as nearly as possible in proportion to the respective abilities. That is, in proportion to the revenue which they respectively enjoy under the protection of the state. Now that's the words of a man who designed American capitalism. That's not some politician running around. That's the words of Adam Smith. Is that taking place today? No, it is not. And the fifth thing we'll talk about tonight is you and your family must come first. If you really want to win at the game of finances, you got to pay yourself first. You must develop a habit of paying yourself first. And a very simple ploy that I tell everybody to use is the 3 envelope system. You put 3 envelopes and every day contribute $1, a nickel, a penny, $5 into each envelope. Take those envelopes and put the first one to mark charity. I don't care what kind of charity. I don't want the guy next door. Put money in the envelope so you can give back. Because if you don't give to a worthy cause, you'll never be the worthy cause. The second envelope, put into savings. Just constantly save away. Put money in there every day. Do that every day. The third envelope, write the word investment. You got to invest in something. It may be your education, or it may be Amazon stock or something. But you've got to develop a habit of saving for charity, saving for savings purpose at all, for its own sake, and an investment. Have the habit, develop a habit of paying yourself first. You are much more important than your electric bill. Without you, you have nothing. Without electricity, we'll go build a fire. You can survive without electricity, but you can't survive without you. Pay yourself first. So, please ask questions. I know I've got somebody mad talking about UBI being capitalism and that you're really not living in a capitalist society right now. We're living under neoliberal economics. But the path forward for all of us is to restore capitalism and knowing what it is. To vote, participate in our political system. Don't be a free rider and then complain. Take part in it. Thank you for joining us this evening, and our next discussion will be Thursday, August 13th at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And my hope for you is that you receive everything you deserve.